They called us one of the weakest teams in the Champions League. Well, we've got 2 games coming up where we're going to show them how wrong they are. Welcome back to the Sir Alex Ferguson Aberdeen Challenge here on Super Sammy Plays. We've started the season with a perfect 4 out of 4 wins and scoring a ton of goals in the process. New signings Karetsis and Alisson have settled in straight away, and our aim of buying experience quality certainly seems to be paying off so far. However, that could all be about to change as we play Rangers and Celtic in the league. We also have our first Champions League league phase games of the season against Beşiktaş and Newcastle. So, can we prove we're better than Europe's 300 to 1 outsiders? Let's get into it and find out. But before those big games, we do have a match against Kilmarnock in the league in this one. And in the 3rd minute, we get off to a great start with Gadu scoring his first goal for the club, making it 1-0. And then in the 19th minute, Alisson doing what he did in the last episode and then running down the right, getting it on his left foot and putting it in the far corner. Before in the 28th minute, Alisson involved again and shoots past the goalkeeper after some good work from Profundi to make it 3. And then we make it 4 just before half-time with Canazun scoring a penalty after a push from a corner. Things don't get any better in the second half, as in the 55th minute, Watt 2 foot in the back of Canazun when he was getting away from him. Stupid challenge and a straight red card. But after a mistake from Gadu and an absolute wonder finish from Declan Giddins, they do pull a goal back. But after this good save from the free kick from Profundi, Castillo does head into an open net to restore our 4-goal lead and make it 5-1. And then Profundi scores the free kick this time, making it 6. We do round it up in the 88th minute with Alisson getting another goal, getting his hat-trick as we go on to beat Kilmarnock 7-1. And then on to that game at Ibrox as we play Rangers in this one. And in the 18th minute, it comes back to Karetsis on the edge. He goes down the left, trying to create something, but a shot is comfortably saved by the goalkeeper. And then just before half-time, a chance for Rangers. Mills pulls it across and Asgard's effort going just wide of the post. Before the other side of half-time, Michael Funk showing his physical prowess with his pace, pulling it into the middle and Canazun puts us 1-0 up. And Rangers go looking to get back into it, but a good save from the goalkeeper, cleared by Gadu after Chimiti's effort, and we survive for a little bit longer. And then Canazun gets caught on the ball. Silvetti down the right, crossing it to the far post, but another good save by Jarhaj and then cleared by Gadu as we go on to win 1-0. So, not the most convincing of wins, but Gadu a masterclass as we go on to win 7 straight now. And we certainly seem to have picked up a little bit. And this is how the league is standing at the moment. Out of 5 played, we have won all 5. And Celtic already 4 points behind us. So, good start from us. Alisson as well, getting named Player of the Month for his first month in Aberdeen. 6 goals and 3 assists in 5 games is pretty impressive. He has also won Goal of the Month for that absolute wonder solo strike against Livingston. And if you haven't seen it, thought I'd show you it. As he gets it from Canazon, goes on the outside of the defender. Looks like he's going to pull it across, but he cuts back on his left foot. Takes it past another defender and then shoots in the far corner to finish off what is an absolute unreal run from him. We also won Manager of the Month, which is pretty good going and kind of as you'd expect after the start that we have had to the season. And a certain Ronald Araujo became available as a free transfer, and after we sold 2 defenders in the summer, I decided to get him in and provide a bit of experienced backup in the defensive position. And that was just before the transfer window closed. And you can see from the Scottish window roundup, we are the biggest spenders. But to be fair, we did also bring in an absolute wedge of money. With obviously those sales for Diakite and Urena. But back to the football, and we were playing Dundee in this one just down the road. And in the 27th minute, Michael Funk's throw-in coming back to him. He cuts past the defender, pulls it back to Karetsas, who gets us 1-0 up and off to a great start. Before Canazun's free kick comes back to him from Gadu. He pulls it to Karetsas on the edge of the box and an absolute brilliant strike from him for his 2nd goal of the game as we go 2-0 up. And then just 2 minutes later, the free kick coming in and Pedro Silva wraps up the scoring as we go on to win 3-0. So Karetsas, the man on form in that one, and certainly stepped up since signing him. He has been brilliant along with Alisson. If we hadn't signed Alisson, he'd probably be getting a lot more attention, but Alisson has just been unreal since signing. We did then have the Champions League registration, and actually, for the first time in a few years, it was actually worth mentioning as we'd obviously sold some of our youngsters who'd been here for a while, and it means that we do end up having to leave a couple of players out due to issues with trying to register everyone, basically. Araujo, Fati, Keane, and Adam, all unfortunately having to miss out this time. But some good news, Canazon is happy to stay. He's happy we kept our promise of strengthening the goalkeeper, which I'm not entirely sure how, because we did that last season and he weren't happy, and we haven't signed another goalkeeper since, and he's all of a sudden happy. So I guess we're happy. We then got the Champions League odds, and it suggests that they certainly don't rate us again, as we've been given odds of 300 to 1, which clearly indicate that the bookmakers have us down as one of the weakest teams in the competition, which is hilarious considering how far we've gotten for the last few seasons. And a great chance to get off to a good start in this one as we play Beşiktaş as our first Champions League phase game of the season. And in the 55th minute after a slow start, Karetsis gets brought down to win us a penalty. And it is going to be our Turkish player, Canazon, who steps up and shoots straight down the middle to put us 1-0 up against the Turkish side Beşiktaş. And then Canazon gets his second goal of the game, scoring a wonderful volley to make it 2-0. Profundi then getting down the right, pulling it back to Alisson. Alisson going past his man, cuts back on his left foot, pulls it back to Profundi, who turns and shoots in off the post to make it 3. And then Alisson again involved, crossing to the far post, and our other Turkish player, Semi, heading into the bottom corner against his former side Beşiktaş. But unfortunately, a very marginal offside, and the goal was ruled out. We do get our fourth goal, though, eventually in the 76th minute as Karetsis, causing all sorts of issues for the fullback, and Canazon wraps it up with his hat-trick as we go on to beat them 4-0. And the second part of our Champions League double-header was going to be against Newcastle, and certainly not the start we were looking for this one, with Giovanni Quenda going down the right-hand side and cutting back on his left foot before firing into the corner. And then in the 20th minute, Lewis Miley finding a lovely pass in behind to Quenda, who crosses it first time to Voltamara, who makes it 2-0. So some words were said at half-time in this corner, then to the second half, finding Alisson on the edge of the box, and he continues his good form and making it 2-1. And then right at the death, in the 96th minute, Marinowicz finding Profundi, who puts it past the goalkeeper, Trubin, to make it 2-2 to rescue a draw. We then had the League Cup quarter-final, our first chance at silverware for the season. And we get off to a great start in the opening 10 minutes as Felicio Caicedo heads home Profundi's corner to make it 1-0. And then right on the stroke of half-time, Sato goes looking for a second as he goes round his man, tries to bend it into the far post, but a good save from the goalkeeper to keep the scoreline at 1-0. And then Gilberto Moura goes looking to get an equaliser for Celtic, pulls it back to the edge with Defoe. He takes a touch and smashes it, but thankfully for us, it goes over the crossbar. And then a great chance to double our lead for Profundi, but a poor effort from him goes wide as we advance through to the semi-final with a 1-0 victory. So we have got Ross County in the next round as we advance to the semi-final, and Caicedo inspiring us with a win. You can see some great form there as he headed home to win that game for us. We then had a message about the FIFA Best Under-21s Men's Player, and you'll remember we've actually won this a couple of times with, I think, Ofer Levi and Martin Wernblad, and this time it was Marinowicz's chance, but unfortunately he came second. But to be fair, this guy from PSG, whose name I am not going to try and pronounce, looks absolutely ridiculous for 21 years old. And it's unsurprising that he won it. This guy also not looking too bad either, Andre Sardan from Basel. Very surprisingly, only 12.5 million, but looking very nice indeed. And Marinowicz coming second in that award, which is, very much deserved for how he played last season. Next up, it was back to the league as we play Ross County at home in this one. And Alisson's throw-in, coming back to him from Canazon, crossing to the far post. And Michael Funk scoring. I'm pretty sure he's about 5'2", so unreal from him. And then Marinowicz crossing it in, finding Alisson, proving he's more than just a left foot as he heads home to make it 2. And then Canazon, it looked like he got fouled to be honest, but eventually going round the goalkeeper, Borden, to make it 3-0 as we go on to win and get another 3 points. And after that win, St Johnstone will not be wanting to come to Pittodrie after the start we've made to the season, and Jay Robinson looks like he's done the same. But unfortunately, the goal after 20 seconds, which I will add was straight from kickoff, was unfortunately offside, but quite clearly offside. And after that, pretty quiet first half, and into the second, Marinowicz getting it back on his right foot, playing it into Jay Robinson, who puts us 1-0 up. Good to see Marinotti's back after that injury, and he's involved again as he plays it to Alisson, who crosses it to the far post. It gets cleared as far as Sarifi out on the right-hand side. Sarifi, our 6'7" centre-back, going past the defender, pulling it back for Alisson, who makes it 2-0 before Lawrence playing the ball through to Frank Jack. The 79th minute, who smashes it into the far corner as St Johnstone pull one back, but thankfully for us, it is just a consolation and we win 2-1. And we have just played Celtic in the League Cup, but now it's time to play them in the league at Celtic Park. And not the start we were looking for in this one either, as Abdel Karim puts it into the back of the net after a lovely ball through Mayulu. And then to add insult to injury, Semi Kilitsoy going off injured in the 20th minute. Certainly not the start we were hoping for. But 4 minutes later, Sato's corner gets cleared as far as Pafundi, who dribbles in unchallenged and smashes into the bottom corner to make it 1-1. And then just 6 minutes later, Canazon getting onto the ball over the top. He cuts it back. It gets cleared as far as Collins Alexander, who finds Jay Robinson, who takes a touch and smashes into the near post to make it 2-1. Before in the 36th minute, over Levi, sends it out to the left with Sato, who crosses in, and Jay Robinson heads home and makes it 3. And then Pafundi finding Marinowitz, who I've got to admit I thought was absolutely miles offside as he smashes this into the bottom corner. And after review, he was offside, but my God, this was a lot closer than I thought from that original highlight. And you know what usually happens after you get a goal ruled out for offside? Gittins gets it on his right foot, gets it back from Karetsas. I'm not entirely sure what he was doing. And then an absolute wonder strike from Arnie Engels, who puts it in the top corner to make it 3-2. But thankfully for us, we do go down the other end and score in the 87th minute with Pafundi firing it across for Karetsas, who puts it into an open net and makes it 4-2 as we go on to win another game and get another 3 points. So obviously Semi went off injured in that one, and unfortunately he's going to be out for 6 to 7 weeks. Don't say it. And Aberdeen do take their chances. Pafundi on form, great performance from him. I mean, I think they've probably given up on giving Alisson and Karetsas all the plaudits at this point because they have been so good for us so far. Good to see Pafundi continuing his good form as since we've signed him. He has been unreal for us. We have now won 11 games straight in the league, and this is how the table is looking after 9 games played, or 10 if you're Celtic. So we've actually played 1 game less than Celtic, and we are 8 points in front of them with our perfect record of 28 goals as well, and only 4 conceded. Unreal start from the boys. And yeah, Alisson dominating the player stats as well, with the top goal scorer with 8 goals, and the highest average rating with 8.16, which is pretty impressive. Well, any doubts about the new signings and whether we've actually improved the squad certainly seem to have been answered. Out of the 13 games we've played in all competitions so far, we've won all but 1. That 2-2 draw against Newcastle being our only mark on what has been a perfect run. But 4 points in our first 2 games in the Champions League phase is still very good. We're also still perfect in the league after playing our 2 biggest rivals in Rangers and Celtic. And it's great to see that big money signing Alisson could not have settled any better. He already has the most goals in the league and the highest average rating. And even though we paid £44 million, if he continues this form, he will look like an absolute bargain. But to see whether he can or not, you're going to have to tune in to see the next episode, as that is it for this one. And if you've enjoyed it, do me a favour, hit that thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.